G'day guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Wildkard. Thank you for being here and watching my content. As always, it is my pleasure and privilege to talk to you right here on YouTube about the greatest sport in the world, rugby. But today is Wednesday. On Wednesdays, we sip some skinny lattes, we're gonna chill, and we're gonna calmly read the news from last week and digest exactly all the happenings in the world of rugby. And yes, so let's go and look at the first article. Here comes Johnny! Here comes Johnny! The mouthy cunt, say that word on YouTube, just got issued a ban for 3 matches following his spray on the referee after the European Championships final between La Rochelle and Leinster. So Johnny Sexton wasn't even playing in this finals game, and he was basically yelling at the referee, yelling abuse at the referee in the post-match medal ceremony. And this was this was directed at Jaco Piper, the primary referee for this match. And he has been issued a 3-match ban, which means that he will be missing out the warm-up matches going into the Rugby World Cup. Something that this kind of actually hurt the Ireland team quite a bit, because Johnny Sexton has been injured for quite a while. He hasn't played for Leinster in club rugby, so the warm-up matches was like a big opportunity for him to get himself back into game shape. This will be against Italy, England, and Samoa, which means Johnny Sexton will be going straight into the Rugby World Cup after not really playing any sort of professional rugby, for, since the Six Nations, essentially. So for almost how long has that been? Like almost 6 months. So it's going to be, quite a big challenge for Ireland with Johnny Sexton's own downfall. But before we go into the allegations for these allegations for this game, there was this incident kind of like stemmed, there's a little bit of story, kind of stemmed from last year's final where La Rochelle played Leinster as well, where La Rochelle beating Leinster 24 points to 21. This was in 2022. And there was some allegations to this match where at halftime, allegedly there was some chat, I think might be from Ronan O'Gara, in fact, to the referee. And that has somehow swayed the referee's decision in the second half, which leading to La Rochelle beating the Leinster team last year. So this year, La Rochelle winning again 27-26. But this time at halftime, it was reported that there were people making sure that nobody was able to talk to the referee. There was separate people, there was like people guarding the change rooms of the referee, allegedly, to make sure that no one was able to talk to the referee. So at the end of the game, Johnny was still extremely unhappy with the decisions from the referees, and he was basically alleged, there were 3 incidents alleged that he was gesturing and giving out a spray to the referee, giving out a spray to the referee shortly after the match. And there was another incident where he was basically making comments to the referees whilst medals were given to the referees in the post-match ceremonies. And finally, it was said that after the medals are given, he followed the referees for a little bit before walking away. So there were a lot of allegations there, and also it was said that he didn't actually give apology to the referees. And then, after these court hearings went through, Johnny Sexton saying that he's going to be apologizing to the referees. But there's a whole testimony from everybody, all the referees. But basically, Johnny gave the referees a bit of a spray, despite himself not even being a player involving in the match. So that is very, very disappointing for all the Irish fans. Going to South Africa for a moment now. The greatest South African of all time, in my books, Francois Steyn, my hero. The reason I have a Springbok jersey, 2007 Springbok Rugby World Cup jersey, is because I'm a big fan of Francois Steyn. And he has announced his retirement last week, so boy, we will not be seeing him for a 3rd World Cup win. He's one of the 2, I think, players to win the World Cup twice, Os Durant being the first person, and then Steyn winning 2007 and obviously 2019. Yes, he had a knee injury, and he's basically coming back from the injury, finding himself not really the same as he was, not really fitting to be performing the test level, I guess, and he has announced his retirement. Really, really sad times. Oh, man. Obviously, good news to the people across the pond, the Kiwis. Oh, so yeah, the Kiwis had a really good weekend beating the Springboks. There was a lot of, mistakes from the Springboks team, but overall, that was a pretty dominant performance by the New Zealanders. So there was just pages after pages of how good the All Blacks were. Oh my God, Bowden was so good. Oh my God, Will Jordan was so good. Oh my God, Shannon Frizzell completely destroyed the Springboks barrel growers. And then we get stupid articles like this saying the All Blacks aren't currently good enough to win the Rugby World Cup. This guy, I thought I was the jokester of the rugby world. This guy, he writes jokes to the next level, okay? The only team, let me tell you right now, and this is a fact, okay? Fact with a capital F and a capital T, okay? This team, this All Blacks team, the only team that can beat this All Blacks team at the Rugby World Cup is on the bench for this All Black team, okay? Okay? That's how good this All Blacks team actually is. Believe it or not, yes, Sir Fozzie's plan of playing all the players out of position, oh my God, everybody's out of position, losing all the test matches last year, it's just his first step of building a team that has depth in every position, okay? Damien McKenzie can't even get a spot, and he's the best fly half and fullback in Super Rugby. He can't even get a spot. Stephen Perifetta can't even make the 30. Luke Jacobson can't get a spot. Sean Stevenson, not even a spot. Fayenga Anuku can't even get a spot in the bench. Are you kidding? The best winger that won Super Rugby this year can't even get a spot on the bench, mate. Are you kidding me? Dalton Papali'i coming off the bench. It's Blackadder. Is injured. I think he might return for the Rugby World Cup. He's probably not even going to get a bench spot. Ethan Blackadder. And with, Sam Wylaw coming back from injury, and with Shannon Frizzell skewering that 6 jersey, where's Scotty Barrett going to go? Is he even going to get a spot on the bench? Scott Barrett, the captain of the Crusaders, probably not even going to make 23. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? This All Blacks team is not good enough to win the Rugby World Cup. Do you watch any rugby? I mean, seriously, this All Blacks team, in my books, is going to win the World Cup. Easy. They can put on the B team and still win the World Cup. They can probably put on the C team and still win the World Cup. That's how good this All Blacks team is. Okay? And they're still improving. There's still holes. There's still massive key areas they can improve. But the raw talent, it's funny. The All Blacks actually lack fundamentals in some of the key areas, like, set piece and stuff, right? They actually lack a bit of the fundamentals. But in terms of the athleticism and the creativity of the game and just like the determination of the players, they're actually way above everybody else. So if the All Blacks polish up some of the fundamentals mistakes and decision making, they're just next level. Absolutely next level. So yeah, anyway, I don't know why I just spent so much time talking about how good the All Blacks is with the Bloodless World Cup coming up. But yeah, All Blacks to win the Rugby World Cup. Mark my words. Sam Kang had a little bit of neck tweak out of the game. Turns out he's going to be probably okay. Maybe a bit of a spray on the neck injuries. But he was looking like he was in a lot of pain during the game. But he has a bit of a neck tweak, but he might just rest a bit. He will be fine to conquer the Wallabies in 2 weeks' time, I'm for sure. So yeah, obviously the Wallabies lost on the weekend to Michael Cheika's Argentinian side. So Michael Cheika, he's such a great coach, Michael Cheika. Rugby Australia really don't know what they were doing and didn't know what they had. So Michael Cheika was just like, yeah, I'm pretty much a proud Australian, but beating the Wallabies, I have absolutely no sympathy in beating the Wallabies because he truly is dedicated to his cause with Argentina. He's not like, oh my God, it's the Wallabies in my home country, I feel bad. No, he's just like, I'm dedicated to my team. I love his space, and he loves his players, and he's proud to you know to present to coach the Argentinian side, and he's dedicated to that cause. So he doesn't care that the Wallabies lost. He has no sympathy for that. And what was interesting out of the weekend between the two games is the response from the coaches. I thought was really drastic difference between the two sides. So from the South African side, the coaches came out and openly, publicly, basically apologized to their decision off the field, leading into the poor performances. So yeah, like Rassie Erasmus came out in a tweet, basically saying that his team didn't really, his selections and his it's the errors made by the coaching team that led to the errors on the field. And then the assistant coach from so the Springboks essentially blame themselves for the coaches bear the responsibilities from the players, which is really nice to do. It's not just they're pointing fingers like, hey, who's gonna get cut? It's like, hey, we didn't do our job properly. It's just really bear that responsibility, which is really nice. Whereas for the Wallaby side, Eddie Jones in the post-match conference basically was gaslighting a little bit. He was basically saying that the Wallabies is looking at building. The Wallabies, we got to try some things. We got to lose a few games before we can get the things right. Most importantly, Eddie Jones told the All Blacks to watch out for Bledisloe Cup. I was quite embarrassed by this comment, to be honest, when I saw this in the post-match interview. It's so absurd for Eddie Jones, considering how poorly the team has been, how demoralized the players are. To come out and make a statement like that against the All Blacks. I know he's trying to make some headlines, but it's so off the mark. It's really, really bizarre to say that, to tell the All Blacks to watch out for the Wallabies. Another tweet from Rassie Erasmus that said that Matthew Reynolds did a better job than the coaching team. Again, he's saying that his performance is much better than ours. So no bashing of the referee from Rassie Erasmus. Really, world-class response from a coaching team, whereas the Wallabies is kind of like, watch out, we're looking ahead. Let's just move on from our losses. Obviously, the big injury from the Wallabies side is Len Ikitau suffered a shoulder injury. Had to look this up a little bit to see what it is. It's a scapula, so the big shoulder blade bones. He had a cracked scapula. So yeah, really big injury, but they're expecting him to come back in about in a few weeks. How many weeks? In a few weeks' time, essentially. How many is it? 6 to 8 weeks. So yeah, he's gonna miss probably a bit of the World Cup, maybe a little bit of that. So yeah, it's gonna be a bit of a really disappointing. So obviously with Len Ikitau out, the outside center position is open again for the Wallabies. Samu Kerevi was playing at the 13 jersey on the weekend, and Carter Gordon was fielding at 12. So Samu Kerevi actually came out that he doesn't want to play outside center, despite playing outside center a lot in the past. For when he kind of started, he played outside center for the Reds, and I think played outside center for the Wallabies for a bit as well. I mean, mate, just do your job, mate. It's just, you just gotta copy for the team sometimes. If things like this happens, and I know it's just, I just feel like you shouldn't really come out and just be like, I don't want to do this because I prefer to play another position. If you're talented enough to play another position, you need to step up for the team. I thought that was a pretty selfish comment from him. Speaking of selfish comments, Eben Etzebeth has done the opposite. Obviously, his dad passed away last week, and there was some speculations that he might not play, but he did make the decision to play the game, which is really, really admirable of him. For the fans, for everybody, he wanted to put out a show, and really, that's quite a respectable thing to do from his part. So yeah, really, it's really difficult for anybody to play a game when having such a huge mental issues looming over you. And I thought Eben Etzebeth, was really, really admirable effort to show up for the fans, for the team, to bear his part of the job. So that's Eben Etzebeth. And next up, we've got so the Lions tour obviously is coming up to Australia in a couple of years. The games has been announced. One of the games has been announced is a ANZAC team to play against the Lions during the week, and this will be a mixture of mostly Australian and New Zealand teams. Let's face it, it's probably going to be the only Australian in this team is probably going to be the assistant coach. Let's be fair, right? So this is going to be basically the All Blacks playing a fourth test against the Lions, and they also talked about how they could potentially be South Africans and Argentinians put into this ANZAC team as well. So we shall see what they're gonna select. But that's just pretty interesting comments for pretty interesting to see what's gonna happen with the ANZAC 15. Obviously another big loss for the Wallabies B team. The Australian B team lost to Tonga in Tonga over the weekend. I did watch this game. The Tongans came out really firing, like the big guns, really. Israel Folau and Charles Piutau really just destroy the Wallabies. Like the Wallabies it was looking like, professional playing against amateurs. It was really bad in the first half. Second half, the Wallabies did manage to come back a little bit. It looked like there might be a fitness issue for the Tongan team. The players might not be fit enough to carry on. And also this was probably a little bit hot in Tonga maybe. But the Tongans wasn't able to continue the pressure in the second half, letting the Wallabies back 21 points. But in the end, Tonga was able to secure the win, 27 points to 21. So 24 points to nil already at halftime. I couldn't actually believe what I saw. And the Wallaby team was started with, the Wallaby B team was started with a lot of players from the A team, like, Tupou, James O'Connor, Bona Foley, and Harry Wilson. And it is really, really, really disappointing for everyone. And obviously this has led to, Nick Farr-Jones, one of the first Australian, he was the captain, I think, for the Wallabies in the first World Cup win for Australia. Came out and basically said, the Wallabies' current trajectory is going to be a disaster at the Rugby World Cup. He's basically said that when he went into the Rugby World Cup in 1991, they felt like they were the best team in the world. They were winning games leading to the tournament, and then during the tournament they were really confident that they were going to win, and they came out winning. They took that confidence into the World Cup and came out with a win. And he's basically saying that this current Wallabies team doesn't have any of that confidence. There's no way this is going to be a World Cup, any sort of World Cup win for the Wallabies is going to be a disaster. And, Eddie Jones kind of like try to defend himself by saying that, hey, look, his past experience, teams has been poor going into the World Cup that he managed, including South Africa in 2007. And the teams came out winning after the World Cup. It's not about how you perform. It's about, what you can learn from those games. That is the most important. So, yes. Next up, Noah Lolesio has signed with Toulon and thus leaving Australian rugby, and probably going to be, if he's ever going to return, in 4 years, he can potentially play for the All Blacks because he is a Kiwi, so he's leaving for Australia. And then the Jake Gordon has secured himself a little side hustle, I guess. He is still contracted to Super Rugby in Australia, but he will be backing up for Toulon in the top 14 during the Rugby World Cup. That he's just going to be, he's going to be filling in to play a bit of rugby in France while still contracted to Australian rugby. So that's kind of nice for him. Two more big names got cut from the England squad last week. So Sam Underhill and Bevan Rodd got cut from the England squad. With what I thought was interesting is Billy Vunipola is still under consideration, someone that has been left out of Borthwick's team in the Six Nations. So Billy Vunipola is still with the team as like an injury player looking to recover. But Borthwick has cut down two more big names for his England team, and he will be announcing his full team the 4th of August, so next month. Next up, Marcus Smith has extended his contract with England Rugby at the Premiership with Harlequins. There was some talks that he might be going to France, but he has opted to stay. The extension, how long hasn't been confirmed, but he's definitely staying in England. Stuart Hogg has announced his retirement, obviously, last week, and he's come out and announced that he's going to be a broadcaster for Scotland, BT Sport. I think that's Scotland. He's going to be a pundit for the 2023-2024 season. So next year, I guess is he going to be covering the Rugby World Cup? I don't know, but he's going to be a pundit. He's found himself a new job. So the Fijians, the Flying Fijians, has been given. The Players Association has been able to broker a higher pay deal for the players. So their pay from, the pay went from $300 a day going up to $500 a day, which is really good for the players in Fiji. Despite the financial issues in Fijian Rugby Union, it's good to say that the players are getting a pay rise. And then finally, last week we have confirmed that Crusaders will be doing a European tour next year, immediately after the end of the dynasty, with Scott Robertson leaving for the All Blacks. This happens, right? This monumental occasion happens. The Crusaders will be playing Munster and I think the Bristol Bears next year. So far been confirmed, and one of the stadiums for Munsters is confirmed to be a 40,000 seater for the Crusaders. So yeah, this will be interesting to see. So yes, guys, let me know your thoughts on any of the articles this week. Do you think the All Blacks are going to win the World Cup? Because I am definitely getting an All Blacks away jersey, Rugby World Cup, that grey away jersey, because I think that will be a memorabilia to be kept for eternity. So that's what I'm going to be getting in celebration of the All Blacks winning another Rugby World Cup. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate your time, and I'll see you guys. Maybe I'll bring out some content later this week. I don't know. I'm pretty lazy, but I'll see you guys next week, if not later this week. Cheers.